Matt Hunt here with MDH Technologies. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to talk about spam filtering, right? You gotta have it. It's really not a luxury anymore. I'm going to hit on three main points today, and that's how spam filtering is going to save you time, right? Time is money, so time and money. We're going to talk to you about how it increases your network security, and I'm going to talk to you about how it creates availability. In other words, it reduces the likelihood that you're going to have lost or bounced email messages. So let me discuss each one of these in just a little bit of detail. First of all, I think probably everybody's gone home to their mailbox and found credit card offers and coupons and more credit card offers and ads for furniture and luggage and insurance offers and so on and so forth, right? Here's the deal. We don't want to waste time looking at junk. Okay, you don't want your employees wasting time looking at junk. Okay, not only is that going to waste time, okay, but it wastes your server resources, your network resources. It increases the load on your server, your firewall, and all these other things, right? So spam filters are going to take the brunt of all of the spam, all of the unwanted mail. Okay. In general, our spam filters are capable of filtering out about 99% of spam. So although a few may slip through from time to time, that's just kind of the nature of spam, because people are constantly figuring out ways to bypass the system, or constantly using new addresses that have not made it to blacklists yet and things. So you may have to put up with a little bit of spam, but definitely not 10 and 20 and 30 and hundreds of messages a day per user. So that's certainly not acceptable. Okay, so that's basically what it's going to do to save you time, right? You're not going to have to sift through the junk for the most part, and spam filter is going to do that for you. Now, the second thing that it's going to do is it's going to increase your network security, right? So the spam filter is going to act as a firewall mechanism between the public internet and your email server or email service, so that the traffic's not hitting your server directly. There's going to be a firewall in between the server and the public internet here. So of course, in front of the email server there'd be traditional hardware firewalls as well, but today we're just talking about the spam filter. So it's an additional layer there. It's going to help protect the server against being just hit really hard with a lot of spam, and kind of reduce the load on it, allow it to run a little bit more efficiently. Previously, before spam filters became very good, certain organizations would actually have to purchase email servers that were quite large in terms of the horsepower, so that it could keep up with all of the junk. Fortunately, today, with the advancements that have been made, we can reduce the load significantly on email servers and allow them to run a little bit more efficiently, and allow organizations not to have to purchase such expensive equipment to keep up with load and so on. So that's something to think about. So there's a bunch of ads and junk you don't want. Spam filter's going to get it, but there's also this malicious stuff, right? Phishing attempts and viruses and other junk that you don't want to hit your network, or for employees to click on and infect machines. Okay, even if it's not an actual virus, there's lots of what's called categorized as malware or unwanted software, and it takes time to clean these things up, especially because traditional antivirus doesn't necessarily do a good job of detecting all of those things. It does great for viruses, maybe not as good for some of the unwanted software and some of those types of things. So now the spam filter cannot prevent your employees from clicking on something they shouldn't, but it does a pretty good job of filtering a lot of it out, right? So it's going to reduce your risk quite significantly. Okay, so you're filtering at the spam filter level. You're also going to filter at the client level on the individual's machine, as long as they've got antivirus, right? So that those are significantly going to increase the security of your network. Okay, let's talk about downtime. Downtime happens. Sometimes the internet may go out. Sometimes there might be a power outage. Sometimes the email server might have an issue, especially for those customers that host their own email servers, or it's an on-premise email system. Maybe it's there's not like a high availability type solution there. There's one of everything instead of two of everything, for example. Especially, like I said, if it's an on-premise kind of situation where it's internet from a specific company, you're not talking about like carrier neutral internet. You're not talking about data center type services or something. So what happens, right? Well, the great thing about the MDH Tech spam filter is that in the event of an outage like this, where the email server is experiencing an issue, the internet's experiencing an issue, or maybe power is out, the spam filter will queue the email, and so that when whatever comes back online, the electrical, the internet, the email server, maybe a combination of them, comes back online, the spam filter will then deliver that email to your server. So because it kept a queue, and it'll do so for several hours, it reduces the potential for lost or bounced emails, which, as you know, just doesn't look very good to the customers that we work with or the end users that are employed. So once again, it reduces risk by limiting effectively bounced messages due to service interruptions or outages. So saves you time and money, increases network security, and reduces risk in terms of bounced or missed email. Spam filtering is definitely a necessity, and given the inexpensive nature of the service, it's totally worth it. It usually actually pays for itself in the amount of time that it saves you and your employees from having to filter through things. Not to mention the increased security and all of the threats that it'll filter out and so on. So greatly appreciate you joining me for today's discussion about spam filtering. Matt Hunn with MDH Technologies. Thank you again.